Good morning, students. So, to recap our previous video, we learned the various forms of verbs. The first form being the base form, walk, past form, the walked, past participle form, walked. This is a regular verb because we just add ed at the end of the base form and we get the past and the past participle form. Whereas in an irregular verb like flew, we have absolutely different, completely different past and past participle forms. We have fly, flew, flown. Okay. Then we have the present form, walk, walks, because with the third person singular we add an s in this present form. Fly, we remove y and we add ies. In the continuous form, we just add ing to the base form, right? So these are the five forms of verb that we learned in the previous video. Then we also had learned that there are verbs which are action verbs. So any verb that is making you visualize an action, okay? Any wherever any action is happening, where things are moving, physical action is happening. That he kicked the ball. Yes, he kicked the ball. Kicking action happening. Yes, kicked it with his feet, and that is why it's an action verb. He is a carpenter. Yes. Is there any action in him being a carpenter? No, it's just telling him his state of being. He likes ice cream. Yes, he just likes them. Okay, this is a verb, but he likes ice cream. It's just telling him his state, okay, or being, that he likes ice cream. Then there are certain verbs which are these. We don't use them. Okay, coming back to state verbs only. In state verbs, one thing that we need to remember is we don't add or use ing forms with state verbs. Okay, we don't use that. He is liking ice cream. We will not say he is liking ice cream. That is wrong. That is what most people make this mistake. He is liking ice cream. Okay, so these are the verbs that we don't generally use with ing forms. Sometimes they will be used, but they will be in a different sense. They will then be not state verbs. Okay, they will not be state verbs then. If they are just stating something, if they are just telling them somebody's being, okay, how they are without any action, then we will never use ing forms with these state verbs. These are some state verbs. You can pause them, you can note them down. Then moving on to the next concept. Whenever we say something, okay, and we say something in a sentence, so we are only telling mostly two things: what happened and when it happened, right? We're just telling what happened and when it happened. So here, let's say, read this sentence: he walks to the school. Okay, he walks to the school. So we're getting to know two things: what is happening, that he's walking to the school. Yes, he walks to the school every day. That means he's it's a sentence in present tense. We will get to learn these tenses just after this video. Okay, the next video. So you will know that this is sentence is in a present simple tense, and when it is happening, that means it is something situation of the present, and that is all that we are conveying in this sentence. And he is going to school, so that is all that is happening in the next sentence as well. He walked to the school. Now this sentence is in the past tense because we have the second form, the past form of the verb here, as we just learned: walk, walked, walked. Okay, now how do we know whether it is the third form or past participle form? Because walk, walked, and walked. Okay, these two are the same. Yes, let's say v1, v2 and v3, or v2 and v3 are the same. So how will we know whether this is v3 or v2? Okay, we will get to know this after we learn the concept of helping verbs. Right now, let's know that this is just v2. Okay, whether if there is v3, v3 will always be preceded by a helping verb. Okay, that is what you are going to learn. What are the helping verbs? Okay, so now before that, remember again, whenever we say something, we're just conveying what happened and when it happened. So in this sentence, we get to know that he walked to school in the past, okay, and when it happened in the past, because of the form of the tense of the verb, we're getting to know the time, okay, because tense only means time. Now what if some sentences were like this? Yes, right now we are just getting to know the action, okay, the things that are happening, and with the tense of the verb we can determine the time. Yes, with this verb we get to know what is happening, he is walking, and other things we're getting to know to the school, more information. And then when it happened, we're getting to know that with the tense of the verb. That means the form of the verbs that we learnt here, these are the various tenses that the verb can be in. Now what if the sentence were like this? He is walking to the school. Okay, this one is also very simple. You can just say it's a continuous tense. Continuously he is walking. The action is happening right now. He is walking to the school. Okay, very, very simple. Now if I remove is, and if I remove these everything that is in blue, all these sentences will be the same. He walking to the school. 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 But remember, all these sentences are giving us a different time. The activity is the same. The activity is walking. Okay? But these things, these words completely change when the action happened. Right? These words completely change when the action happened. Here, let's read. He is walking to the school. Right now, he is continuously doing that action right now. He was walking to, that means he was walking, he was continuously doing it, but in the past. He will be walking, that means in the future, he will be walking. Okay, maybe tomorrow, maybe 1 hour later, we don't know. But in the future, he has been walking, he has been continuously doing that. Right now, he has been continuously walking to the school. He had been walking to the school before something happened. So we are getting to see the time frame again. Completely different. All these yellow verbs completely change the time of the sentence, of when the action is happening. So these verbs that I have written before this, see, both of them are verbs. Yes, walking is definitely a verb. We know that. So here we understand the difference between a main verb and a helping verb. So whenever in a sentence you see there are two verbs, okay, so then definitely there will be a main verb which will be preceded by a helping verb. Okay, here don't think that this is three, this is just same one part, one helping verb, this is one helping verb, one helping verb. No, actually here only has and had are helping verbs. Okay, here will. So these are helping verbs which will be followed by the main verb, and main verb will always have the helping verb to tell when the action happened. All right. So there are some primary helping verbs, or they are also called auxiliary verbs, but we will use the term helping because that's easy to know. So you will need to note down these three verbs: be, have, and do. Okay, I've already written down this for you: be, have, and do verbs. So these are the forms of these verbs: is, am, are, be, this is base form, was, were, the past form, been, the past participle form of this verb, this one particular verb, which is be. So if you ever see is, am, are, you should instantly recognize that this is a form of this particular verb be. Okay. If you see have anywhere, okay, you should recognize had, and has are forms of this particular verb have. The present, the base form have or has, whether we are using it with third person singular, I'll tell you that later, just after this. And then we have the past form, then we have the past participle form. Again, both are had. Do, I hope you're writing this down. You need to note this down. If you don't note this down, you will forget it. Write this down in your notebook. These three helping verbs are the primary helping verbs. They are most used, along with models. I'll teach you what are models later. So can could, may, might. We'll just come to that. So those are modal auxiliary verbs, and they are also used as helping verbs before the main verb. I hope you've written this down. So modal auxiliary verbs are these verbs: can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must. So one of the properties of these verbs is that they don't have any forms. Okay. They don't have forms. That means they don't have present part. They don't have them. They are just used as it is. Okay. Can will never have canned. Okay. Or could will never have couldled or coulding. Nothing. They will always be used as you see them. So they are also used as helping verbs, and they help us in telling the mood of the verb. Okay. The mood. What do I mean by mood? Mood basically just means the attitude of the speaker, or what he wants to convey and how. So let's say I write, I can write a novel. Another one, it might rain today, which happens a lot in Karimganj. I must get a haircut. Okay, let's say. So here, can, might, and must are modal. Okay, and they are helping verbs. So I can write a letter. It just shows my ability. Okay, I can write a letter. Shows my ability that I can, definitely can. If I choose to write, I may write a letter here. If I choose to replace can with may, then that goes with possibility that I may write a letter. I might not write a letter. Okay, it is up to me. I may or maybe I will not. Again, it might rain today. So the attitude is that you are not 100% sure. It might rain today, might not rain. Okay, so you are, let's say, you have a probability that you're not 100% confirmed that it might rain today, but you think that it might rain today. I must get a haircut. So you are definitely very, very adamant about it that you should get a haircut. Otherwise, things are going to get bad for you. You must get a haircut. That means it is imperative. 100% you need to get one. So here we're getting to know the mood of the speaker with the help of these modal auxiliary verbs. Now, another use of helping verbs is in making negative, in conveying a negative meaning in a sentence. So going back to the previous sentences that we used. So if we have to say he walks to school, okay, and if I have to convey that in the negative, I cannot use not, or there is a negative form of these verbs called main verbs. Okay, we cannot use negative forms with them. So we always use negative forms with our helping verbs. So they help us in making negatives. So is not, was not, will not be, has not been, had not been. Okay, not is being used with these helping verbs. So they help us in making negatives. Another use of these helping verbs. Now, coming to linking verbs. So as we saw that state verbs do not have any action in them. Yes, they're not doing any physical action. He is an action, just telling the state of the person, that he is a teacher. So here in such, and we also have learned that be do, and have their own forms. Yes, here we learned this. Now, if these forms be, do, and have are the only verb in a sentence, okay, is, are is a form, yes. If we learn that this verb, which we earlier thought was a helping verb, because we have learned it in a helping verbs only, and if there is a helping verb which you thought was a helping verb in a sentence, and that is the only verb in the sentence, then that will be considered the main verb, because without verb we cannot have a sentence. So when that is being considered the main verb, now the problem is that they don't have an object. Okay, in a sentence there is a subject, there is a verb, and there is an object. Okay, if you don't know what is subject and object, you need to like go back or try to find out what is a subject and object. I'll just give you a brief example here. Let's say Piyush has completed the task. Okay, what is the verb here? We have completed, and then we have a helping verb, has. Completed is the main verb. Piyush is the subject. Okay, Piyush is the subject, and whatever answer you get when you ask the verb what, okay, if you ask a what question to the verb and the answer that you get is the object of the sentence. So let's say here Piyush has completed the task. Piyush has completed what? The task. He has completed the task, so that will be the object. Okay, this is a very brief description of what subject and object is. So in this sentence, in the previous sentence that we studied, he is a teacher. Now since is our main verb here, because there is no other verb, so it cannot be a helping verb because it is the only verb in this sentence. We call it, when such verbs which are usually helping verbs are used as main verbs, we call them as linking verbs, because here there is no object, and what they are doing is they are linking the subject he with another idea, that he is what? A teacher. Okay, so we don't call them as objects, we call them as subject complement. Now why do we do that? Complement. Okay, why do we do that? Because in the sentence that we saw, that Piyush is, Piyush has completed the task. Okay, Piyush, the subject, and the task, the object, were two different things. Okay, Piyush is one human being, another human being, and he has done what? A task. But here, he and the teacher are both the same things, because he, the person, is the teacher. Yes, he himself is the teacher. So they are related to each other. That is why it is called a complement, because it adds to this. It is ये subject का ही complement है, because this, the action is happening on this person only, that his state of being is being told to us. That is why because the action or whatever be state of being is being told about the subject, that is why we call it a subject complement. Okay, again let me remove all this. Whenever helping verbs or any form of these helping verbs and such verbs where we don't see them as action verbs, let's say he likes so here this is a state verb. This is not an action verb. Yes? Because he is just liking, there is no action happening. He just likes ice cream. Yes? So since he just likes ice cream, so here this will be called a linking verb. Right? Because there is no action. And there is no object as such, because since this is a linking verb, we will have the subject, and this will be our subject complement. Remember this. When helping verbs or auxiliary verbs are used, are the only verb in the sentence, that is why they are used as the main verb, then in that sentence that verb is called as linking verb. Let me give you another example. I have a problem. Okay, have is the only verb here. I will be the subject and a problem will be the subject complement, and this will be a linking verb. He seems familiar. He seems familiar. He seems familiar. He is the subject, linking verb, and this will be the subject complement. He appears to be sad. Okay, he just appears to be sad. Any action happening? The action is not happening. There is no, he just appears to be sad. State of being is being told. That is why this will be a linking verb. Then this will be a subject, and this will be the subject complement.